In this video, I'm going to run through a couple of contextualized problems that involve using right triangles and the trig ratios that are connected to them. So the key is, for given a situation like this, where this might come out in real life, you're walking through a park and wondering how tall a tree is. If you have the right instrument, you could sight at an angle, and you could measure your distance from the base of the tree, and so you could quickly come up with a picture like this. Even though you couldn't climb to the top of a tree and drop a measuring tape, you could measure from the center of the tree out to where you're laying, and you could lay down the grass and sight in the tree and figure out what angle it is. And so from this information, we can use trigonometry to find how tall the tree is. So the idea is that we know that this is the hypotenuse. Based on this angle here, this would be the opposite side, and this would be the adjacent side. And so what it comes down to is I need to figure out whether I'm using which trig function I want to use. So since I'm dealing with this angle right here, and I know this side, which is the adjacent side, and I want this side, this is the one I'm looking for, the height of the tree, so I'm dealing with opposite and adjacent, not hypotenuse. So I have to think to myself, which one of the functions use that? So we know that sine, remember SOHCAHTOA can help with this, sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. So since we have adjacent and we want to know opposite, tangent is the one we want to use. So we're going to write an equation using this relationship. So you know that tangent of 25 degrees has to be equal to the opposite side. We'll call this height for, no, I guess we got a h over there. We'll erase that one because we don't care about it. The height of this tree, so that'd be h. Sorry about that. So that means the opposite side would be, or you put the opposite side on top and the adjacent side on the bottom. So the tangent of 25 degrees is equal to the opposite side over the adjacent side. And then we can just solve this equation. So we would go 50 times tangent of 25 degrees is equal to h, and then we grab a calculator. Make sure you're in degree mode, because we're talking to our calculator in terms of degrees, because it says 25 degrees right there. So then I'm going to take 50 times the tangent of 25 degrees. Oops, I didn't check to see what mode I am. I don't think I am in the right mode. Yep, I was in radians. I think I checked. Okay, so that'd be 50 times tangent of 25, and I get 23.3-ish. So that tells me the height of the tree is 23.3 feet. Okay, if we're looking for another situation, let's say that there's they're called chameleons maybe, there's a lizard. It's a cute lizard that has a really long tongue that shoots. It can shoot it up and grab a bug off of a leaf or something like that, right? So here's the tree limb that the little bug is sitting on, and this little lizard that looks like kind of like an alligator almost, but it has this really long tongue, and it can shoot it up and stick to the insect and pull it in. So let's say that the lizard happens to know that he is 2 feet from the base of the tree, and he happens to know, because lizards are very good at sighting in angles, he happens to know that this is a 40-degree angle. So the lizard, of course, needs to calculate how far to shoot his tongue. So what we can do is we can set up an equation for the lizard. So we are interested, or we have so if 40 is my angle, we have the adjacent side, and we want to know the hypotenuse, because that's how far he's going to shoot his tongue. So we can set up equations. So if we have adjacent and we want hypotenuse, that makes me think of cosine, right? Because cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So that means that cosine of 40 degrees would be equal to 2 over h, which is the hypotenuse, or the tongue length. So there we have an equation with one variable. We can solve it. So the first thing I would do here is multiply both sides by h, and that gives me h cosine 40 degrees equals 2. And then I divide by cosine of 40 degrees because I want to get h by itself. So that'd be 2 over cosine of 40 degrees. And I'll throw that in my calculator. 2 divided by cosine 40. And I get that h is approximately equal to 2.6 feet. So that little lizard is going to have to shoot his tongue out 2.6 feet. That might be a little bit beyond his capacity. I don't know how long their tongues are, but that seems like a long ways. I might be able to do it. Okay. So that's the idea. So notice you want to pay attention to whether you have the opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse. So usually you're given one and you're trying to find another. So that's you need to pay attention to which one you're given and which one you're supposed to find. Okay? I think I'll stop there.